Hello, it's Lucy and welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be talking about my experience transferring from Cornell University to Northwestern University and whether or not I've had any regrets, which, spoiler alert, I have had some regrets, which I'll get to later. So let's get started. When I was first accepted to Northwestern, I felt a whole wave of emotions. I was happy and excited and proud of myself that I had accomplished something that I'd worked so hard for and for such a long period of time, and it almost felt like a weight was just lifted off my shoulders. But at the same time, I also felt really weird because it was the first time that it really hit me that I needed to make a decision. You know, the whole time I was like, oh, well, I'll just apply, see what happens, and figure it out from there. But now I was there, and this meant potentially giving up everything that I had worked so hard to build at Cornell, which included my friendships, the clubs that I've been a part of, the professors that I've made relationships with. All of those took a lot of time and effort as well, and I could potentially be giving those up. So it was a time of a lot of mixed emotions. When I finally hit the accept button and put my deposit down at Northwestern, I felt good because I was taking the next step forward. But it was also really hard hitting the withdraw button to withdraw from Cornell because it meant that my decision was final. There was no going back, and I was officially leaving everything behind, including my friends who I had to break the news to. And while I didn't regret my decision at this time, it definitely wasn't easy. Then fast forward to fall quarter, my first quarter at Northwestern, I moved into my dorm 1 week before school started, and I attended Wildcat Welcome Week, which is Northwestern's orientation week for first years and transfers to get to know the campus and get to know each other before classes actually start. At that time, everyone was trying to get to know each other and make friends because, of course, everyone was new to the campus. So typically people would come up to you and ask like, hey, what's your name, your major, and where did you transfer from? And for most people, they would be like, oh, I transferred from this place. And they'd be like, oh, cool. And when I said I transferred from Cornell University, people would just stop and they'd stare at me and they'd be like, oh, really? Why'd you transfer from Cornell? And I did not expect that I would get asked this question almost every single time I met somebody new. And it was quite literally them questioning my own decision to transfer, which in turn, of course, made me question myself, because when you have all these people that think there might be something wrong, you stop to wonder, maybe there is something wrong. And some people brought up some really valid points, like Cornell is a top 5 CS school, whereas Northwestern is not. So why did you transfer? And I think this was definitely the start to some of my feelings of regret. In fact, I even got this question asked during an interview. I was interviewing for a software engineering internship, and my interviewer was a software engineering manager, and he asked me why I transferred, and I told him it was for personal reasons, and he wouldn't let it go. He kept going on saying, well, isn't Cornell a better school? Like, why would you do that? And it made me feel really uncomfortable. And it started to make me worry that it might affect whether or not I get the job. I later found out that I got the job offer and the engineering manager had really great things to say about me. So it didn't affect my job offer, but it still made me feel uncomfortable. And it also just made me kind of second guess myself once again. So on top of having people questioning my decision of transferring, I also had the normal struggles that a transfer student goes through. So for example, I had to completely restart on my GPA So all of the hard work and the A's that I got at Cornell essentially meant nothing because I had to restart. So it put more pressure on me fall quarter to get good grades because I had no GPA cushion. Also, some classes from Cornell didn't transfer over exactly how I would have liked them at Northwestern. So I wound up retaking some classes at Northwestern. And this was kind of disappointing to me because I was really excited to start my first quarter at Northwestern and take some fun, interesting, harder classes, but instead I wound up taking classes where I was relearning the same content. And then I also was just a little bit behind when I compared my credits from Cornell to Northwestern. This was partly because Northwestern didn't accept as many AP credits as Cornell did, and it was also because Cornell is a semester system school, whereas Northwestern is a quarter system school, and people at semester system schools typically take less classes than quarter system. So with all of that being said, you're probably wondering why on earth did I even transfer, but hear me out. There have been a lot of things that I've grown to love at Northwestern. One of them being my support system. I've made so many great friends and friend groups at Northwestern, people that I can rely and trust. I also have my family nearby, which is really nice because I'm able to go home for holidays and birthdays. I've also joined a number of clubs where I've also found my own community. Like for example, I'm a mentor for women in computing. I am also a web developer for Wildcat, and I'm also a web developer for NU FinTech or financial technology. And I also participate with a lot of other activities on campus. In addition, I have recently been accepted to Northwestern's graduate school for their bachelor's master's combined degree program, so I will be earning a bachelor's and a master's degree in computer science, and I won't have to delay my graduation or pay any extra money, which is really amazing. I also am planning on getting involved in research or working closely with a professor so that I can potentially do a thesis or a project for my master's degree. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then I was also able to study abroad this past summer in Greece, which is something that I never thought I'd be able to do, and I probably would not have been able to do at Cornell. So that was also a really great benefit of going to Northwestern. And also on top of that, I was able to do a full-time internship for software engineering at Intuit last year during winter and spring quarter. So that's another opportunity that I think I would not have had at Cornell because I don't think I would have been able to fit it into my schedule. So whenever I find myself having feelings of regret or questioning why I transferred, or even thinking about what if, like what if I had stayed at Cornell? Would I have had more friends? Would I have had a better GPA? Would I have had a better internship or better anything? I think I try to remind myself of all of the amazing opportunities that I've had at Northwestern that I wouldn't have had at Cornell. I think that most people's biggest fear when transferring is that they'll regret their decision. They'll wish that they stayed at their old institution with their old friends and all of the comforts that come along with it. And I think that the best way to combat that is to get involved. You know, put yourself out there and make friends and join clubs and make meaningful connections with your professors. You know, all of these things can help you feel more connected to the school, feel like you're actually a part of something. And when you start to feel that way, you start to have pride for the institution that you're attending. And I think this is really important because I think that when you feel prideful for the school you're attending, you just start to love it more. You start to look forward to going to classes, look forward to going to club meetings, look forward to seeing the people that you see on a regular basis. And I think that's what really makes college worth it. So to answer my original question, no. I don't regret transferring. I'm happy at Northwestern, and I love the friends that I've made and the memories that I've made, and I'm really looking forward to my next year and a half here at Northwestern and really just making the most of all of the opportunities that are here in front of me. Thank you all for watching. If you want to learn more about my transfer process, check out some of my other videos. I'll link them down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!